Yeah, I'm Johan from Chartboost, and I am going to present to you the very humble title on how to dominate influencer marketing. Feel free to interrupt me with questions, if you want. I don't mind. Let's make it interactive. So starting off, agenda pretty, straightforward. We talk about first, why, then we talk about the how, and then we talk a little bit about understanding the impact, because this is more than just showing a video getting installs. This is all about, the package around it as well, with branding and everything that comes with it, right? So, starting really quickly with me, I'm Johan. I work for Chartboost. I am the general manager for Chartboost in EMEA. I've been in the online mobile gaming space for the last 10 years or so in different manager positions. And I represent Chartboost. Really short on us, we're the largest mobile game audience network. We're integrated in 300,000 apps, 800 monthly uniques, 40 billion game sessions, all that kind of stuff, right? The reason I'm showing this is mostly because I want to show you that we know what we're talking about, right? This is not to promote us. We do work with the biggest gaming companies, and we got a bunch of awards and all that kind of stuff as well. So, why is influencer marketing important? Well, first of all, we all know this, right? We all know that the traditional UA channels, they are getting pretty crowded. It's hard to buy installs right now. It's difficult to buy ROI positive installs, basically. And what's really interesting with this influencer crowd, or actually the video gamers, also the people that go into read about or listen to about games and video, on YouTube especially, is that they actually have more people watching video game content online and mobile than all the big streaming services combined. Granted, they're paid for, but still, there's a lot of people. There's 500 million people watching gaming content on YouTube. Secondly, most of them go to see games that either what they are interested in and they want to play, or they go to see content about games they already play, where they want tips and tricks on how to get through levels, or they want to understand how different boosters works and stuff like that. So they come there for a reason. They're not just some average SEO traffic that you get in there, but actually people that want to see the videos they look for, right? And third, almost all of them go there a lot, right? So you basically have a really good audience here. You have an audience of gamers that come there for a reason, because there's something they want to see. They listen to someone that they trust, because that's the whole key of being an influencer, and they come there a lot. So it's a good audience, right? Now to the how. Now, what do you need to think about? What's like the influencer marketing 101? That's what I want to talk a little bit about here. And first of all, you need to really know your audience. So make sure you know who you want to address, right? General, demographics, males 35 to 45, that kind of stuff, awesome. But also think about, okay, what languages would they, the most of them speak? Is it English? Is it a different language? What kind of interests do they have, right? Are they specific? I mean, as much as you can define them as possible, the better. Because once you go later and choose your influencer, then you need to make sure that his or her audience really matches with these guys, right? And secondly, define your budgets, right? I mean, some developers are happy with paying 50,000 or 100,000 to do a test. Others, are less so. So, how much do you want to spend for this kind of, with this kind of marketing? And what are you comfortable with? Is this a test, or is this, the second or third time you do it? Do you know your numbers already? How comfortable are you, basically? Because this will really determine also what type of influencer you can reach. If you're only willing to spend a little bit, then of course you can't reach the big guys, but you can test it, right? So just decide on that. And then, of course, the most important part is choose your influencer, right? And this is where you should spend a lot of time. This is where you have to do your homework. You have to see that, okay, they match your audience. They are the kind of person that you want to represent your game. I mean, you can have the guy in the hat, or you want to have the cute girl with the dog, or do you want to have the half-naked guy at the bottom there who's flexing his muscles? They can all work. It kind of depends, what you want, really. And this is where you research previously on the audience and also on the kind of budget you want is so important because you want to match that with these guys. And you want to have someone that has the right audience, but also someone that you can work with, right? Someone that responds to emails and it's easy stuff like that, right? And you find a kind of a chemistry with, right? So this part, if you want to be successful, spend a lot of time with this one. So that's the how and why, right? And this is about, how much is this going to cost me? Because this is a different way to buy. In essence, it's a different buy than to buy on the normal performance network. So to answer this, I think the easiest is to start off with, okay, how can you pay, basically, for an influencer? And there are, in essence, at least with us, on Chartboost Influencer Network, we have 3 different ways to charge. And the most straightforward one, as we all know, is CPI. You pay for an install, right? This is also, of course, the lowest risk. You agree with an influencer, for every download that's generated from this video, we pay X, right? And then the influencer takes all the risk. And obviously, this is not the most popular one with influencers. But it's a good way. If they can agree with it, then it's a really very low risk way to start your influencing marketing, right? On the other spectrum of that is the flat fee, which is actually the most common way to pay an influencer, and it's the way that an influencer wants to be paid, right? So regardless how successful the video is, you pay a flat fee for that video. And this, of course, is best for influencers. This is also what the big guys, the big influencers, always charge, almost always. And this could actually work really well for you as well if you know your numbers. If you know, have a good, idea of what your CTR will be from this video, if you know what the install rate will be. So basically, how many installs this video would generate. And, of course, the ROI on those installs. And in general, the quality you get from this type of videos is really good because it's a very engaged audience. And they're there to see that game a lot of times, right? So and, choose which one works for you. Some companies start out with a CPI way, and they learn, they get the data, and then they go for maybe a bigger bigger influencer, go for a flat fee. The middle ground here, of course, is the traditional CPM model, where you pay for the views, basically. You know at least how many users are going to see the ads, and then it depends on your conversion and how successful it is. Another thing that I wanted to bring up also is that it's very easy to measure success here on number of installs created or number of revenue, the revenue generated. But please also note that the organic growth is going to be quite substantial from this type of campaigns. First of all, a lot of the installs that you get are actually impossible to track. So you get a lot of free installs that way. A lot of the users that you get also are very viral. So you get a lot of, the virality is often high. So you get a lot of installs that way. And then also, the video will still be there after the campaign is done. So it's going to generate installs longer as well. And a third part, a third example of the advantage also is the way the influencer can actually describe the gameplay and describe the boosters and stuff like that, the IP stuff in the game, which makes it no risk basically for a user to experience. He doesn't have to go and pay for it to try it, right? So we have a video, please run it, where I want to show this, and I turn off the sound so that you can hear my pretty voice instead. And what I really want to say here on this one is as you can see, we have 2 influencers to the left. They start off this video by saying that, explain that, we are paid for this video, right? This is an advertising, and that's quite important as well. That we don't want to deceive anyone. They describe the ad and all that stuff, but they are paid. So what they're doing here is they basically go through different boosters in this game. So if you already know this game, you already play it, but you haven't want to take the step to pay yet. This is actually a pretty good way to see, what kind of golf clubs should I get? What kind of balls? What kind of, how would this impact my game? And they can explain the game, they can explain the boosters. And in this way, this particular video actually increases the conversion rate in the game. So users that already play it will actually buy more. So, thanks. And So again, I want to come back to this. You know, we talked about a bit of the how and the why and the cost slightly. And I think it's important to know, you know, the true value of the influencer campaign. It's really about, besides the direct performance-based installs you guys are going to get, where the ROI is high, you will also get organic uplift. That's for sure. It's going to be most of the time significant. The lifespan of the original content, and what I mean with that is also the IP conversion is also going to go up. It's going to be a way to make better, get more money from the game, inside the game. And then you still have the brand value also from after the launch, right? So everyone that this has been exposed to will know your brand, will know your game. So even if they don't install it, they will, you know, the brand is still a branding tool as well that you get for free, basically. And I want to end this by saying that, you know, this is an ad. There should be no question about that. But there's also nothing weird about it. I mean, this is the best way for these influencers to make a living. And they're not all PewDiePie with, you know, 30 million or so users or subscribers, but they're also more like medium-sized and smaller influencers. They can actually make a living or fund their hobby doing this. So there's nothing weird about it, and we all make money from it. We should not deceive the users. This should be very clear, and this is a good thing. And with that, yeah, please, go dominate. Any questions?
Right. Okay. We have questions about influencer marketing. Am I on? Sorry, I was very quiet. Do we have any questions from influencer marketing? Oh, there is one. There's a gentleman here.
Do you have any like real example of cost of some campaign? Like what kind of campaign and how much it costs, like concretely?
Yes, I do. But it spans from everything from let's say 5,000 to 50,000, and it can be even more than that. Again, the most common way to pay is a flat fee, and then depends on, you know, who you go to and what kind of reach, what type of target audience they have. So it's a difficult question to answer generally, right? It depends a little bit on, okay, what is your game, right? And who do you wanna target, and how do you wanna buy?
Like any example, any real campaign.
I mean, what's the ballpark? I mean, what costs are we looking at for you know, UA campaign, for an influencer UA campaign? Is it like $10,000 starting free, $100,000? What's a meaningful spend in this space? Sorry, but you know, you've got 7 minutes left.
Yeah, no.
If you talk longer, it'll be less.
No, but it's a great question. It's just a very difficult question to answer. That's all. And I apologize for not being able to be more specific. But I would say, like if you want to go in and test it, 5,000 is probably that way you can get to quite a few influencers. You can try it out, and you can see what it does for you, right? But it's a very difficult question to answer without knowing the specifics about the game. On CPI level, I can say that I think 30% or so of campaigns and Chartboost influencer part is bought on CPI. Don't quote me on that, but roughly. And there the CPIs they're relatively the same as in a network, but most of the time the ROI is higher. So it's usually a better deal. And what we see also is that the conversion rate actually from a video to an install is actually much, much higher. We're talking like 3-4 times what we see on the network in general.
Excellent. Have you got any other questions? There's a question over here. It's all right, I'm coming. This is all the exercise I get.
That's okay, because I can answer this question. Because I'm running French media. We have a web TV, we have influencers, we have YouTubers. And if you don't mind, I can give some price, just as example, because it's something we are doing every day. So we have demand for YouTube video, for example. The budget can be €1,000. But it's for games, small games. You will do maybe 50,000 views, 100,000 views, but that's the lowest price. And on the other part, for a live TV show that will last for 2 hours, we can have demand for 5,000 euro, 10,000 euro, because we're trying to do a very high quality show. So it's not always related to the number of views or to the performance of the game. It depends on the brand approach. Are you on the performance, you are going to do on CPM, or are you on trying to get a community? Then you have to pay much more to get this community, and you will pay, for example, 10,000 euro for a 2 hours web TV show, which has, in fact, you will never get a return on investment on such an amount. But you need to be present on Twitch, on the leading media. So it's not really rational. It really depends on the way you want to communicate around your game.
I agree that spending on media shouldn't be rational. That's definitely very important. I guess, any other questions? We have time for one final question before we... I have one last question, I guess, that I was quite interested to ask. What are the limitations? Everybody's very excited about influencer marketing. It's the new black right now. It's the solution to everything. But are there any kind of limitations compared to other forms of UA? In terms of the predictability of results, for instance, what are the kind of the pitfalls? Everybody knows the potential upside, the virality and all that, but what are the pitfalls? Because obviously Chartboost don't just do influencer marketing. You do
right. I think the major thing is that, it is a major investment in the beginning, right? It's not like you can set up a test campaign for 50 euros and then, see how it runs, and you can find your good publishers and then you do whitelist or something. That doesn't work. I would say it's quite risky in a way, right? In the beginning. But if you know your audience and that kind of stuff, and if you know the good eye on your numbers and the value of the users, you take away a lot of that risk. But I think that would be the biggest difference, right? It's one big campaign, and you can't change it over time, right?
Yeah. Okay.